All right, so in this session, we're going to talk about 4, 5, and 6, but importantly, stage 1, 2, and 3, which is developmental audits, your alignment to future, and strategy, generally takes around 90 days to 120 days, which is 3 to 4 months, and post which we start working on the fourth, fifth, and sixth stage. Now, fourth stage and fifth stage is the most difficult stage of change. Okay, now when I say difficult change, why is it so difficult? I'll give you first explanation of what those stages are. The fourth stage is building execution discipline, and stage number 5 is people competency. Okay, these are two critical, stages, and they are most exhaustive changes. You know why? Because everybody is now excited and everybody wants to do something, and everybody is seen, oh, this is where we are going to go, and this is the strategy and stuff like that. But when it comes to execution, people are still with old habits. Okay, so it is one thing saying I want to do it, and the second thing is I am doing it. And I am doing it requires a hell lot of discipline, right? So people are habituated to their old habits, and to change those habits, it takes a little time. Now, that is what we are going to look through. What is building execution? So when we say we build execution, it means that understanding the lean principles and collaborative decision making, the usage of collaborative decision making. So we set up rhythms in the company. Okay, now these rhythms talk about daily rhythms, weekly rhythms, monthly rhythms, quarterly rhythms. We set off the entire execution rhythm in a dashboard format, which means the first thing that we do is any presentation of any department that comes in will have a standard index. Okay, there's no deviation from the index, so standard index. Every month, every week, the managers, the leaders need to only present that data. Okay, we keep improving that, that's not a problem, but we first create that standard. So where is this input coming from? This input is coming from the strategy document that we have created, the developmental audit that we have created, that is allowing us to concretize the index of the presentation. Anything that is monitored can be measured. Anything that is measured can be improved, right? So hence, we first fix the index. Once the index has been fixed, then life is different. You know why? Because now my managers are focused on this is what I have to deliver every time. Okay, that takes us to the next part of it, the rhythms of it. We make sure that the rhythms are executed in front of us, which means they could be digital, they could be physical calls, digital reviews, whatever is happening, but they are in front of us. In the first 6 months, we do it for you. Okay, we do it for your client. For the client. And after that, we teach the client of how to do that. So we sit behind and you guys do it. Your leaders and your managers do it. So that's how execution is built. Execution cannot be built by telling you do the review. That is not how execution happens. Execution has to happen by showing you how to do it. Okay, and hence we make sure that we are part of those reviews on day in, day out basis, so that we are able to guide and coach you on the job. Okay, that's what happens. Next, we build the communication principles. So what do you mean by that? Communication principle means that we have accepted that this is how the language of the organization is going to be. Okay, now in every review, in every visual conversation, in every, so say, assuming we start a meeting by saying, this is the vision of the company and this is where we want to go, let's start the vision. So everybody's constantly repeating that. If there's an argument in the team, we help them how to manage that argument. If there's a conflict in two departments, we help them understand how to manage that conflict. If there is a person whose speed is high and the other one's is low, we help them build tolerance amongst each other. Now this is magic. Why is this magic? Is because they know an alternate way of getting the job done. Okay, and that's helping them to become better and better every day. And this is an everyday job, my friend. Okay, so when we say we take consulting for 18 months to 36 months, why are we saying 36 months? Because we are with you in that game. We are not giving you gyan from outside and telling you this is what to be done and this is what to be done. No, we are part of that conversation along with you every day. That's how it happens. Then we build a RASI grid. You know what is a RASI grid? It's a fantastic tool, and that tool helps you to measure and monitor and count the progress. Okay, very importantly, count the progress. So in the RASI grid, you are, say, assuming a department has 50 activities to be done. You will know month by month, week by week, how is that department manager performing? How is this department performing? And you understand that is the skill issue or a will issue? Now, there is a certain mechanism that we build during the reviews by asking those questions, which we train the leadership team and the owners, that listen, if you look at these questions, okay, you will understand whether the person has a skill of doing it, first of all. If not, then you'll have to train him. If there's no will, there must be a reason. He must not be enjoying it, or he probably doesn't want to do it. So alignment is necessary. So that's how we start improving on the people's competency. And hence, RASI grid becomes very important with your communication principles. That takes us to the next part of it, which talks about using PMI standards. So when I say PMI standards, what do? We have a, when consulting project happens, it's a time bound thing, right? So we use all the PMI standards. Our consultants are trained on PMI standards. PMI is Project Management Institute standards, or Agile methods, or Scrum methods. All of these methods are used onto the project so that it is tagged, monitored, and measured every day about the success. Every month, we give a review to the client saying this is the job that was accepted, this is the job that was done, this is the completion percentage, anything that is missing is getting covered, including the mandates of every consultant, and every hour that he's invested is being measured, monitored, and shared with the client. And then the client shares what have his team members, he and all of them have done in the next, the first 1 month of that. They also tell us what are the plans for the next month. Parallelly, our senior consultants keep talking to the owners and the leadership team to make sure that the entire team is in the same direction of what they're wanting to. That's about PMI standards. And the last execution discipline is built by my favorite thing called calendarization. Every possible thing in the company is calendarized. Every possible thing. I think we start the bare minimum by around 20% of things getting calendarized to reaching up to a 90% of accuracy on calendarization. Right now, whenever I say why, because everything, then I know everybody is working on a certain timeline, certain deadline, and I'm expecting certain things to happen on certain time. Now, because of that, you don't have to control people with your words. Your system is controlling them. Okay, and that allows you to build the execution discipline. I believe it is just about a year for people to see the taste of success. Once that is done, we have seen the year 1 is really difficult in consulting. Year 2, year 3 becomes fantastic, because third year, the business is leaping because the team is now with you. They've understood your mechanisms. They've learned those mechanisms. They've become competent in the first 1.5 years. And then, because most of the time we miss the game of looking in future. So my humble request, if you're an entrepreneur here, if you're a leader here, please broaden your beliefs of how consulting projects or consulting assignments have to be given to people. You cannot have a short-sighted while you're giving. You're expecting an external party to come in your company for 2 days and make the change happen. Trust me, it's not going to happen that way. Unless and until you and that intelligent brain is working together to make it happen, it will never happen. And when we select projects with these two parameters. Is the company scalable, and is the mindset of the leader, if he's an entrepreneur, if he's an owner, it doesn't matter, or his leadership team, do they have the maturity and tolerance to take the change that is happening? If they do not have that tolerance, if they do not have that maturity, we generally tend to go away from that project, because it's not about just money. It's also about creating a fantastic name for the organization that we are building. So hence, we also make the choice of what kind of businesses we will get in. That allows us to look at the next part of it. Hey, by the way, you can also book a call with one of our consultants or one of our counseling team who would help you understand and talk to you, understand what is the business. If you feel this information is helping you, you can fill in the form, take the appointment, you can talk to them and see if good things can happen. Okay, so that's an open, because like you will be selecting us, we also would love to select the people that we work with. That makes two things fantastic. One, we are happy in what we're doing. Second, we are deemed to be successful where we are working with like-minded people. So these are reasons. There is a link below. You can definitely check that. That takes me to the next part, which is process and people competency. So which is 5th and 6th. I'll see you in the next session.